A little pinch. When they say God works in mysterious ways, I'm pretty sure that they were talking about our story. First try. In 2017, Evan was offered a job in the cities. When the opportunity came, we took it and said, let's have a fresh start.
Girlfriend, no.
Oh, she just took one of those wood things. Got it. You know, there was another house in this cute little cul-de-sac, and it had a little pond in the backyard. And when we got the offer accepted, we were really excited to move in. Over the subsequent months comes COVID. You have to spend a whole lot of time at home.
Girlfriend.
Oh my God.
Every time.
You have all these toys. Play with those. Spring comes. We meet everybody in our cul-de-sac and start spending a ton of time with everyone there. Amazingly enough, our next door neighbors, Pete and Ashley, and their kids, Nora and George. Cheers. Here we go, guys.
Cheers. Here we go.
Become fastly one of the best friends we've ever had in our lives.
It's been an interesting process, but I can say the beginning, it all kind of came to a head and began when we had a fun night at the bonfire in your guys' backyard. You know, life, you know, like you talk to people that you love and that you care about and that you can connect with. You talk to them about things that are important to you.
Him and I had like one pillow talk conversation, and then like 3 weeks later I was like, yep, I'm doing this. Like, this is what I want to do. I just felt like this sense of like, this is really the right thing. I just feel like it's such a God thing that like faith is going to take over. I was praying about it before. Tell us, is this the right thing to do? Make sure my body is ready. I've been praying so hard about this. Like, I just think that this is just what is meant to be.
So I remember when Danielle got her diagnosis, and then we were driving into the first appointment with the doctor to go over treatment plans. And it was the longest car ride ever. In that meeting, they gave us really only one option. The reason why the options are there is that some women have been successful in having pregnancy and it doesn't spread, but there are cases where women have pregnancy and it spreads and it gets worse. And yes, there are cases where you'll lose her. All I heard was one option: keep your wife. I made that decision within about 3 seconds. I didn't really care what Danielle wanted to say at that point. I just was like, we're having a hysterectomy. I know Danielle, you know, she said yes in that meeting, but I know her, she wasn't settled on that because kids weren't on our plan at that point in time. And we talked about it, we joked about it, but neither one of us were ready to have kids. But then when that option is taken away from you, I know that Danielle felt very guilty about agreeing to that decision. It was really easy for me to make that decision that day. I never looked back at it, never once.
Taking that fresh start and moving down to the cities, we also had to take a look at, is now the time that we talk about a baby? I ended up starting shots in September of 2019. And over the next month, Evan and I had decided, even though we had just moved into a brand new, beautiful house, that it wasn't conducive to starting a family. So much to our parents' protests, we put our house on the market.
Color your life.
It made me weigh myself when I got in here. I gained 11 pounds of follicles. They gave me a frosty beverage. I'm feeling good. How do you feel after potentially becoming a dad today?
We're gonna find out soon if they got you all fertilized. Really,
also, I think we get to figure out if they're girls or boys by the end of the next week.
Yeah.
How many girls do you think there are? Probably 100 to 1.
There's a lot of girls. So Danielle's procedure was a success. She had 14 follicles. And so then what they do is they take the 14 follicles and they bring in my swimmers and they start right then and there making a baby. And so what they do is you got about a week time frame where they put them together, and then they find out how many of them are successful. So we had 8 that were successful out of the 14, but then we have to wait another 3 weeks because to really increase your odds of this process, they do more genetic testing on the eggs to find out for any sort of defects or which ones are going to be the best potential eggs to go through this process. And so we basically are waiting a month from the retrieval day. We set up the appointment to get the results, but during when those testing happens, they also check and they can tell you if you're having boys or girls. And so we are basically waiting a month to find out if we're having how many boys, how many girls, and we're joking they're all going to be girls, obviously, because of Danielle's family. And I'm just kind of indifferent and on pins and needles. We have the call. I'm at work. Danielle's at work. I didn't want to be like in the cafeteria or any place in public, so I reserved a room at work which could seat like 40 people. So I'm the only person in this room, and we're on the phone, and Dr. Janie goes, okay, here's the results. Of the 8, 3 of them are healthy enough to go through the process. Do you want to guess what they are? And Danielle's like, all girls. And I'm like, I can't talk. I'm like, just tell me. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. And so she goes, actually, they're all boys. And my first reaction is middle infield, ceilings coming your way. Here we go. And I'm running around the room like fist pumping, like I got a baseball team coming. Danielle is silent. Not saying a single thing because she was so, it's going to be girls. It's going to be girls. So 3 boys, 3 eggs ready to go, sitting on the bench, ready to get their call to the show. Here we are, night 2, putting some stuff together. Let's see how this goes. We're just going to set this up and record all the commotion for tonight. So enjoy the process, folks.
Oh, she has a wooden doll in her mouth.
Girlfriend, come here.
She knows she did it wrong, too. Oh, and she'll be coming around the mountain.
Got it.
One day, Evan was outside just working in the garage. A man and his wife had shown up out front and said, hey, listen, we were looking at open houses. So Evan gave him a tour of the house, and that night got a text from him saying, your house was beautiful. It just feels right. It feels like the right choice. And me and my wife want to put an offer in on it. So literally the day that we accepted their offer was the same day that I went in to do my egg retrieval.
As I sit here in our 10th house in roughly 10 years of marriage, people probably think we're crazy and why we moved for the 10th time to this house. You know, we just kind of told everyone that we wanted to be more financially stable and, you know, it just didn't feel right. And our neighbors were obviously 20, 30 years older than everyone, and we could have been all of their kids and all of those things. But really what we were doing was getting to a house that felt better for us to raise a family and pay for a baby. You know, and people always tell us stories of, you know, God was talking to me. And I didn't really know what that meant until this process. There is that voice that I kept hearing that if we were going to have a baby, it wasn't going to happen in our Lakeville house. It's a beautiful home. We love the community, everything about it. But God was just saying this wasn't going to happen. And then when we made that decision to have a baby and go into this process, he was like screaming in my ear, like, it's not going to happen here. It's not going to happen here. And that was God. It wasn't that, you know, gut feeling. It really just stood out to me because this whole journey is just such a God story. And the reason why it is such a God story is because if I hadn't listened to him and drove my wife nuts to think about the idea of moving for the 10th time in 10 years, which I thought she was going to strangle me when I really started to push on it, we would still be in Lakeville on a waiting list, probably 40th or so, still in line as we looked at our emails here just this past week to find a surrogate. So if he hadn't pushed me to get out of that house, we would still be waiting. We've had to keep you a really big secret amongst our family.
Sold our house, said we paid off student loans. We didn't.
No, we're paying for you.
Oh, babies. It's the hardest thing, I think, out of all of it, to keep you a secret because nobody knows that we're trying to have you and we love you so much already and we've done so much to sacrifice for you to be here. So when you get here, it's going to be so great.
Before that night started and you guys went out to dinner,
Yeah.
did the end result of that night ever even cross your mind? Did it ever even cross your mind that it was going to become a huge topic that night?
No, it didn't even cross my mind until we were walking back from Kyla's. And I'm like, I need another drink. And she's like, yeah, I'll walk with you. Like, we'll walk together. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to ask her to come on the deck. I'm going to tell her right now. Like, it literally was like, right then. Like, seriously. I had to say like the best moments in my life, like what would it be? Like it's obviously like your wedding day and the day you had your kids. And I'm like, to give that to someone else would be such a gift, and to be able to share that with someone.
We might be finally having a baby. I'm really excited. I know it looks like I'm sad, but I'm not. We've just been waiting a long time.
So when Pete brought up the bonfire about you guys not being able to have kids, I immediately started thinking in my head, empathizing with you guys. Like, how would I feel if that was me? God, that would be so terrible to like feel that way of like not being able to have kids. I just was like, well, what if I was their surrogate?
And then she comes home from the restaurant and says, I'm going to carry Danielle's baby.
And
I
I'm
go,
going to tell him
oh,
right now.
I didn't even know you had thought about this since.
I hadn't even
shared
told him
the
that I was
information.
thinking about
No,
it. Like, I'm always
because
like, go with a gut feeling.
Very faith driven. I don't know if I've ever met someone that I felt like, you know, God spoke through more, right?
Mhm.
Just in terms of like, they're bringing greatness to the world in a lot of different ways. And this is just one of those ways where I was like, okay, well, if she's that confident, let's do this. You didn't know for a month and a half about that
So
conversation?
you never told that, Danielle, you never told Evan about that conversation? Why not? What the hell?
These assholes knew for a month. They knew that they were ready to do this for a month.
Let's make a baby! Oh my God, it's happening. We're doing it.
We're on our way.
How you feeling?
Feeling warm tinglies.
Volume's kicking in.
Getting ready. Maybe I should fix my hair.
I think it looks great.
I hope you come get me soon. Just deep breathing. Oh, the boys are playing golf.
We're making a baby and the boys are golfing.
Perfect. Oh, he said sexy knees. He likes my knees.
Oh.
That looks terrible.
Once we get everything lined up, then our embryologist is going to bring the embryos in. Now, the embryos are too small to see. So the catheter is loaded in a specific way so that there's a fluid and air bubble around the embryos, and that we can sometimes see like a bright spot. But because your embryos are so sticky and because they're microscopic, we're going to have to take the catheter back and keep checking it till we make sure that we've got both of the embryos out of the catheter and delivered.
I'm following for patient Danielle, Julie.
Doing great, Ash.
That's crazy.
Are you feeling the meds at all? Oh, is that a yes? Okay. Some people feel the meds a lot, and other people it's like, no, didn't get anything.
Here comes some babies.
Okay, I'm advancing the embryo transfer catheter. It's going really well, nice and smooth. There we go, and I'm advancing it. I'm gonna make a little space and say, Maida, please push. You may see a flash here. You see that bright spot?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now I'm slowly backing my catheter out. Now I can't tell if the embryos are in that bright spot or not, because remember they're super, super sticky. And if they did not get off the bus, it's no big deal. We just reload again. But we're gonna double check that, okay?
How you doing, Mom?
I'm good.
You're doing great.
All in, please.
All right, it's done. All right, I gotta do my last thing. Stick and grow, stick and grow, stick and grow, stick and grow.
I did it.
You really did.
Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I'm so happy. I just hope that God protects this. We got this. You should give me a hug.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Ashley?
Ready to go.
I'm not gonna lie, I was in Target today for like 2.5 hours. I walked past the baby aisles 100 times. I didn't know if I should stop. I did cry the whole way home because it was like, what if we're pregnant? Like, am I ready? Are we ready? Is this like a thing? Now we're here taking a test. And Evan, what are your thoughts?
Patience. We waited this long. We'll just keep waiting.
Here we are.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Wait, you should wait like 30 seconds.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
It's a plus.
it was just one of those moments where it's like, how in the last year have we decided to have a baby, gone through an egg retrieval, sold our house to somebody so randomly, ended up here next door to somebody who also goes to the same church as us, and then offers to have a kid for you. It's just so mind-blowing.
Yes, it's
That's measuring 9 weeks even.
It's measuring 9 weeks, even though it's 8 and 5 days.
Yep. Overachiever.
Okay, good.
Let's just feel them hot Cheetos.
There he is, that little guy right there. Look at that nugget.
A little chicky nugget.
Jackson by myself.
What do you think?
But then we find out that their daughter Nora's teacher is Mrs. Hermosa, who is the wife of the guy who randomly walked up our driveway last fall, wanted to see our house, put an offer in, and bought it, and is the reason that we're next door to the people that are now having our baby. We couldn't ask for anything more.
So I'm at my mom and dad's, and I'm gonna watch the videos based on the appointments today. Yeah, I had to wait until everybody was in bed, so it's late. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna try and keep it quiet.
So Danielle couldn't be here for the first ultrasound. She's actually in Arizona right now.
I'm not in Arizona, I'm in Florida.
But I'm sending her this video to let her know the results that we found from our first ultrasound. We've also been thinking about names, and Danielle came up with an amazing name called Asher, and it's just perfect because we have Ashley, whose little oven is going to be bringing Asher into this world. And then kind of thinking about middle names. Babe, I know we haven't decided this yet, but God's saying that this is what it should be to me. And it just rolls off the tongue. It sounds perfect. So I want you to see Asher, David, Paul, Sealing.
Asher David Paul.
There he is, Asher David Paul Sealing. And here, if you can see it, is Asher David Paul's little tiny heartbeat.
Oh my gosh.
So I hope you're ready, babe. I know I'm not, but we are. Asher David Paul's on his way. I love you.
I'm so excited.
You ready?
No.
Yeah, neither am I.